Hi everybody, and welcome to Chelsea Groton Bank's Facebook video. Today we are talking about becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own business. This class is geared to 6th through 8th grade, but it's absolutely appropriate up through high school, and even there's information in here for adults that are really thinking that maybe they might want to start their own business. So let's think about, if you could become anything in the world and you could run your own business, what would you want to do? And so when I ask this question, I get a lot of answers back. People think about, what do they like to do? What are their hobbies? What types of activities do they like to do in their free time? And a lot of times you get some really, really interesting answers. So over the next little bit, I'd like everybody to be thinking about what it is they would do if they could become an entrepreneur, if they could own their own business, because we're going to loop back around to it in just a little bit. But basically, an entrepreneur is a person that organizes and manages a business, assuming the risk to earn a profit. So we talked a little bit about risk yesterday, what risk is, and how we can manage that risk a little bit. And one of the ways that we manage the risk for a business is insurance, like we talked about yesterday. But one of the other ways is how we set up that business. And there are 4 basic ways that you can set up your business. So one is a sole proprietorship. So if I opened a lemonade stand and I was the only owner of that lemonade stand, I would be a sole proprietor. You could do a partnership. So if my friend and I opened a lemonade stand together, we would be a partnership. We would own that lemonade stand together. One of the businesses that you hear about the most is an LLC, which is a limited liability company. And so that means that your business is set up in such a way that if you owned a lemonade stand and somebody got sick off of your lemonade, they wouldn't be able to personally sue you and take away your house or your car. They would only be able to take what the company had, or what insurance was set up for the company itself. And I'm not going to get into it. There's rabbit holes about how all that works. We're just going to stay pretty high level today. The last one's a corporation, and that is the most complex setup of the 4. There's 2 types of corporations, an S Corp and a C Corp. That doesn't really apply too much to you, but it is basically a completely separate entity from you. A lot of the larger businesses are corporations, right? So like a Walmart is a corporation. There's no one person that is responsible for Walmart. If it got sued for something, so there's not one person that's going to go down. The corporation as a whole would be in trouble. So most small businesses are not corporations. They wouldn't be a corporation until they got a larger. Okay, so circling back around to what I had said to begin with, if you could start your own business, what would it be? So hopefully you've been thinking about that over the last minute or so. And once you know what you want to be, there's some questions that you should be asking yourself. And those questions are, who would this business benefit? So say I wanted to open a lemonade stand at the end of my driveway, but I lived in a very rural area where nobody drove down the road. Who would that business benefit? The 2 people that drove past my driveway would probably not be a super great business model, right? I wouldn't be having a lot of customers. So you have to think about who that business would benefit. What problem does my business solve? So the problem could be many different things. My lemonade business could quench the thirst of all of my neighbors on a hot day but there are businesses that were created to solve needs. So maybe you've designed a product that could help people in one way or another. Maybe you are opening a restaurant which is going to service the needs of people in your area. You just have to think about what is the problem that you're trying to solve. So if you were going to open a coffee shop, but there were 15 other coffee shops where you lived, is there really a problem to solve? Maybe not. But if you're going to open a coffee shop because there are no other coffee shops, that's the problem that you're solving. How much money would I need? So when you're thinking about opening your business, even if I'm going to open a lemonade stand, there is some cost to that, right? So I'm going to have to decide whether I'm going to make lemonade from a powder or if I'm going to make lemonade from scratch from lemons. Am I going to need pitchers? Am I going to need ice? What is that going to cost me? Because I need to know how much it's going to cost me to start that business. And where then would I get that money from? So for my lemonade business, I could probably front the cost for that for myself. You as a student might have to do some chores around the house or ask your parents for help to start that business. But if you were going to start a larger business, say a restaurant or a hair salon or an auto body shop, there's going to be a lot more expense for that. And where is that money going to come from? So you just have to think through where are those funds going to come from. And then the last thing is, what challenges do you see? So, if I'm going to start my lemonade business, would I want to start it in January? Probably not, because nobody is going to want lemonade in January. But would I want to start it in June? Maybe. Again, what I was saying, do I want to start a job at a really lemonade business at the end of my driveway at a really rural place where there's not too many people passing by? Probably not. And those are the types of things that you would want to think about. So again, what I mentioned about the coffee shop, if there are 15 other coffee shops in the area, that's going to be a challenge, right? You still may want to open your coffee shop if you can make your coffee shop stand out above all of the other coffee shops. So maybe you roast and grind your own beans and nobody else does. Or maybe you have a lunch and nobody else does. So thinking through, how do you stand out, and what other problems do you see? So that is what you should be thinking through when you're starting your business. And I think it's really important as you are all thinking through maybe where you want to go to high school or college, what you might want to do later in life. Because if you start thinking about it now, you can start focusing on, maybe you need more math. Maybe you want to take a high school class that is business. Maybe you want to take a cooking class to try it out. And all of the different things. So thinking through what you think that you might want to do when you get older is really helpful as you're growing up. So have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.